I would put some music and some audio cues in this intro.
The Amaron star system, on a nondescript planet, in a nondescript city under a synthetic sky, this alien melting pot suffers as crime and corruption emanates from within a seemingly beautiful metropolis. Ruled by the Chromon family, the dominant mafia of sentient androids, there is endless conflict, from the megastructures above to the slums of the underground, with what government left untouched on the verge of being controlled. This is prime territory for a group of contractors, the freelancers. For the right price, they reap the benefits made on the broken minds and bodies of others to do any task for good or for ill. Among the freelancers is Kitty Sugawara, looking to make ends meet. One wonders why this former defender of justice retired early in a world so vile.
Here I was, standing on this rooftop upon which the building it covered was abandoned. A personal sanctuary, you could say. I was on the well-done side of exhausted from a day that was about as productive as selling bags of sand on a desert planet. Crime may be tearing this place apart, but such a classy dump lent itself to good opportunities for making a living. Bring a big iron on your hip and some nice insults. You'll do fine so long as you don't take a plasma round to the noggin. Got the credits? I can get it done. I've been many things, well, except an assassin. If I had any limit, it was that killing for the sake of killing didn't sit well with me. Guess you could say I'm a freelancer for the standards, whatever those were in a place like this. Of course, opportunities have been high and dry lately. Another bust today. Either those jobs have been taken up by others, or an odd twist of fate or destiny, or whatever you'd like to call it. Things have been more peaceful. But just when you think things are peaceful, something comes along to kick that peace up its alleyway. Usually it's something mundane, like a ball thrown at your window, a phone call with bad news attached, or a pistol aimed at your head. It wasn't long before such an occurrence finally came, as I heard it. The pulsating whirs of a hover car caught both of my left ears, the human and the cat ears, like big catches of river carp. I made it a rule to never share the location of, or invite anyone unimportant to my rooftop sanctuary, which could only mean one thing. Someone who knew spilled it. This would either lead to two things: a job or a body bag.
Are you Kitty Sugawara?
Who's asking?
You're an investigator, right?
Again, who's asking?
My name is Celine Movak, and my husband is missing. I was told you do investigation work.
Yeah, I can be an investigator if paid enough in that direction. Not often I see a Sephorian beyond the east border. Who sent you?
A policeman at the Central Metropolitan Station. A young Klaxian. Clean face, dark red fur.
Bumbles his words, stumbles like an idiot, has breath that smells like a valley of mint.
You know him, Miss Sugawara?
That was Ricky. I'm acquainted with the bulls on a professional basis, but he tends to stand out like a bird in a den of wolves. Interesting he'd point you in my direction, though. He typically avoids giving freelancers business directly. Even to me.
He only did so after I tried bringing this matter up with them. I haven't seen my husband in days. No one has. Not his friends, the neighbors, his workers, nobody. Man vanished like dirt in a whirlwind, and it's not like him to disappear without notice.
I need you to stay calm, Mrs. Movak. Smoke?
What?
Do you smoke? Sure he isn't flapping his wings into another nest?
Benyard would never. He's a family man through and through. I can assure you that it's more likely that an Arashmagor can lay eggs into my head than that man could ever be with another woman.
And the cops wouldn't help.
It was dismissed by them as another infidelity case.
And what do you mean by his workers?
Ben's the associate director for the CARP, Cryptinium Associates of Refining and Protections. It's the city's Cryptinium Refinery Workers Union, one of the few government-sanctioned unions free from crewman control.
For now, anyway. A man like that must be a big fish. You must be rolling in the dough.
That's beyond the point, Miss Sugawara.
Just keeping track of things. Anyway, your husband's a big shot of a non-Chroman city union for Cryptinium refinery workers, and you assume this has something to do with his disappearance?
I think they're paid to ignore the problems of non-Chroman unions.
Probably.
All was hopeless until that Ricky fellow came up and told me all about you and your background.
Background?
I know all about you freelancers. Most wouldn't touch this case with a pole the size of a Yubanar if it involves those Chroman thugs. But when he mentioned that you were a vigilante once, it gave me hope that you were the one to ask, Miss Sugawara.
I'm gonna give him a wallop so bad I'll knock him sideways worse than a gravity well and turn his skeleton into a liquid gravy paste.
What?
Ricky's a good cop. Possibly the best kind around. Perhaps too good. He shouldn't be telling you this stuff. I've told him not to. Talking about my vigilante days is like asking whether I'd like my death to be slow or slower.
I apologize, Miss Sugawara. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, you're perfectly fine as you stand, Mrs. Movak. As long as you know that I don't want to talk about it, we'll be perfectly square. Besides, there's more pressing matters. It's true that even if I'm the freelancer to go for, it opens the door to a greater question at hand.
That is?
What would you be offering me if I accepted?
10,000 credits advance payment, then another 10,000 after the job is finished. Our treasurer would have been suspicious if I took any more.
Considering the possibilities I have in mind concerning your husband, the risks, and his status, you'll need to offer better than that.
Why?
Because I may need to use my iron for this one.
That ship over there. That's an old Rockefeller classic, isn't it? 3rd generation, I presume?
Impressive. Not many people could distinguish a third generation from a second. Beauty, ain't she? Keep her conditioned and well-groomed. If there's anything I've learned, it's that if you take care of a ship, it'll take care of you.
And yet, generations 2 to 5 have infamous cryptinium consumption.
Know that much, huh? Yeah, can't deny that. Even with modifications done to the reactor and fuel converters, thing chugs crap like a frat boy in a desert.
Well, I could possibly get my man to pull a string or two. How would 400 liters of refined cryptinium sound to you, Miss Sugawara?
That's 6 months of fuel.
So it interests you?
Yeah, I suppose it does. Here we are. By lending your thumbprint to this contract, you agree that you'll uphold your payment offer now and when my services have been concluded. Failure to do so means I'd no longer be obligated to assist you in any way, now and in the future. You're also required to provide a phone number in the event I need to contact you, and vice versa. Do you agree to these terms?
I do. Whatever it takes to find Bennyard.
You got yourself a private investigator.
When do you start, Miss Sugawara?
Right now, Mrs. Movak. I'm familiar with the Kuromans. They wouldn't directly involve themselves with the government unions if it means having more eyes on them. Rather, I believe the underground might be a factor. Possible outsourcing. I have a contact at a bar in the industrial district, the Enderpub. I'll shake some trees and hopefully something will fall into place.
Thank you, Miss Sugawara.
It's what I'm being paid for.